Hey guys, welcome to Overbite Gaming. Lee here, and I thought we'd do something a little bit different. I thought maybe start of a series. I'm going to call it Lee Likes, and what it's going to be about is telling you about games that I particularly enjoy, why I enjoy them, and even if they're not very good games, possibly, the sort of reasons as to why I still kind of play them and still kind of like them. Now we're going to start off with Hatred. Now, I did a first impression of Hatred when it came out, and it was pretty meh. It just seemed, for all intents and purposes, to be aping Postal and going for the shock value of deranged lunatic killing innocent people. I never had any moral quandaries with the way that went, because, I mean, we kill innocent people in games all the time. You run them over in GTA or blast them in an airport, you know, it happens. And every time there's a big hoo-ha about it, it dies down and the world quietly goes on with its business. Now, Hatred has gotten a lot better. And I tell you for why, and I can sum it up in one word. And that is mods. Hatred always had some promise to it. The way the game actually worked, the mechanics of the game, the shooting, the aesthetic, it was all good. It was just the subject matter rubbed some people the wrong way, and the isometric viewpoint could be a little bit iffy now and then for aiming. But the mods, my friends, the mods, you can pretty much play this however you want to now, purely through the mods. They're all on Steam Workshop, so they're all free. You can go subscribe to them. So let's go through, I think we're going to do four mods that really changed the game. I haven't worked out it to get them working anything but independently, but it is possible, at least with one of them, to get it working independently of the others. Well, together with the other, I should say. Okay, so the first one is the simplest, and it's a color mod. It's just Hatred Color Mod, that's what it's called. And all it does is it colorizes the game. Now, Hatred was always black and white with only fire and blood and sort of all the sort of destructive elements being in color. This puts colour in the whole thing, and it pops and it looks a lot better. I mean, when it's black and white, you struggle to see sometimes. You can like be running along and get caught on stuff, which I still do, but that's because I'm a dumbass. But now with colour on a bit brighter, you can see a lot more, and it looks quite nice actually. So props to the guy that did that. Moving on, we'll have the next two ones are very similar. I think they're done by the same person. The first one is the Mass Murderer mod. Yes, the Mass Murderer mod. And what this is, it turns the game into an FPS. Yes, really, an FPS. It's not the world's best FPS, obviously, and your arms are kind of like out there from half your forearm down and they're floating in the air a little bit, but this is all because the person that's done the mod obviously has to conform to the way the game works. But he's done a pretty good job of it. It works fairly well. It is a little bit harder because you can't obviously see all around yourself, so you might want to play on a lower difficulty, but it really does ramp up the immersion, and you can actually see the textures close up. I'll tell you what, they're not bad. For something that was supposed to be played like bird's eye view isometric job, they've really put some work into the textures, so hats off to the studio, hats off to the modder. The next mod is very, very similar. Let's see if I can remember what it was. Yeah, it's Death Dealer. And it basically turns the game into a third-person shooter. So if you like the over-the-shoulder business, there you go. You don't have the cut-off arm problem, so it maybe works a little bit better. You still, you know, you can see you've got a greater line of sight like you would in the first-person one, so you can see further ahead of you, but you obviously don't have all of the view around you, but it's a little bit better than the FPS one. So if you want to play as a third-person, fill your boots. It's still a little bit twitchy. There are still... It's not as smooth as if it had been designed as a third-person shooter game, but it definitely works, and it's definitely fun, and, you know, it's amazing what they can do with technology nowadays, isn't it? Now, the last one, and probably my favourite one, because I always thought Hatred would be just a really fun power fantasy game, but the trouble is it spikes in difficulty hard a lot of the time, and you know, once you get past the first couple of levels, it gets super hard. You're being shot from everywhere, so it becomes a bit of a struggle, and the only way you can really sort of in the vanilla game sort that out is by beating it on its hardest difficulty and then getting access to like the God cheat and the infinite ammo cheat, which is, yeah, being on the highest difficulty is not going to happen in my lifetime. So we have a mod called Super Not Important. And what that does is it basically makes you into a superhero, but instead of waking up and putting on spandex, you've donned your murder coat and your wig and off you go, blowing people away. It gives you a few superpowers. You move a lot faster and you're kind of like the Juggernaut. You run through buildings, cars, they blow up. People, you just kill them instantly by running them over. Your kick is super strong now. People go flying when you do it. It's quite fun. You have laser vision, so you can shoot people with your eyes. That's cool. They sort of blow their heads off. Very nice. And you take a lot less damage. 80% I think is the amount of damage reduction. And whatever weapon you're not using slowly refills with ammo. So you are a superhero, and it changes the game into that destructive para fantasy. I mean, playing that is such a hoot. Just going around with your laser eyes, just literally, oh, there's a big group of policemen, just run through a lot of them and just kill them all. Even the death animations, the executions are different. You basically use your finger like a gun, and it blows their head off and sets their body on fire. That's pretty cool. But it really does achieve what this should have been in the first place, and that is give you a gun, give you a lot of people that can't really fight back, some that can, and then go and do what comes naturally to the human race, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, those mods, I mean, the colour one is the one that will work with others, obviously. The first person and third person are definitely exclusive. I'm not sure about the superhero one, because it doesn't mess with much, but like from the viewpoint, it might be feasible to get that working, but I wouldn't know how. If someone knows how, let me know down below. And playing the game with these mods on completely changes the experience from what it used to be. It used to be fairly ho-hum, but you're going around shooting lasers at your eyes and just busting through walls. Yeah, I can get behind that. That's good. I like it. I spent, like, I was capturing footage. I was just going through and sort of activating each mod and capturing footage. And I spent far too long capturing footage. I just started playing it and having fun, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is a mistake. Normally, I sort of strive to get the shooting done as early as possible. I've actually been off today, and yeah, it's about 6 o'clock, and I'm recording this. So I've just basically been bumming around on it all day, capturing footage. Oops. But anyway, guys, that's Hatred. That's why I like it. If you haven't tried any of these mods, check them out. Especially the superhero one, which is super not important. Check that out. That makes the game what I think it should have been in the first place. Just this power fantasy. But that's enough from me. Don't forget, we release videos Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. And if you'd like to, please consider subscribing down below. And comment. Let me know what games I should be including in this series. I am thinking about possibly doing another one for Thursday. So it won't be dependent on views. I just tend to do what I like doing, to be honest with you. Anyway, guys, and that'll be my last video, and then we'll have Snare back for a couple of weeks, where I'm sure he'll do some more Warframe content for his avid tribe out there. So, you have a good evening, and I'll catch you later.